Wolverines is John Beilein, now in his 10th season. He's won 2 regular season Big Ten titles over the last 4 years, went to the 2013 Final Four. He starts a couple seniors and a couple juniors today, and Clark talked about 1,000-point scorers Zach Irvin and Derek Walton Jr. DJ Wilson has really come around and been terrific of late for the Wolverines. And in the Hall of Fame this past September, in his 22nd season, Tom Izzo, also the winner of the 2016 Dean Smith Award. And here is who he starts, with the talented Miles Bridges leading the brigade. He's a 6'7" freshman from Flint, Michigan, 3-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Aaron Harris is the West Virginia transfer. Well, there have been a lot of successes that the Spartans have had over the Wolverines of late. They've won 4 straight and lost here to Michigan just twice in the last 22 years. An amazing streak. Our officials this afternoon here in East Lansing. Terry Weimer, who has officiated 3 Final Fours. DJ Karstensen, who has officiated 12 NCAA tournaments. And Mike Eaves, who has also officiated a Final Four. So here we go. Michigan winless on the road, and that is a big story in Ann Arbor.
No question about it. They had opportunities at Iowa and at Wisconsin and didn't squeeze them.
Walton has not played here since he was a freshman. Any good game here for Michigan way back when. Shot clock is down to 5. Abdul Rahman is held by Ward. No call. The shot short. Wagner! But they wave it off. Shot clock violation. Did not get it off in time. Your keys to the game today, Clark.
Well, anytime you face Michigan State, transition defense is always a priority on the scouting report. Get back immediately from Michigan State. They want to get the ball inside to Ward because they feel like they have an advantage there. And also Ward has struggled with foul trouble. And there you go, right on cue. Perhaps I was in the coach's locker room.
Well, we were in the coach's locker room. You're right. We were in the coach's locker room. But you called it, and that is a key today.
And he does. He has stayed. He has gotten himself into foul trouble a bit. And so Tom Izzo wants to try to get him going for the matchup advantage, and also because you never know if the young fellow will pick up an early foul trouble situation.
Irvin. Wagner, who has really had a nice season, but he's knocked away inside by Ward. And here comes Bridges on the wing to go to Harris. Out of bounds it goes. Nice play by Ward defensively inside.
Did a nice job here breaking contact and then timing it nicely at the top. Well done by Nick Ward.
They did just give a foul to Muhammad Ali Abdul-Rahman, the junior from Allentown, Pennsylvania. He picks up his first.
Yeah, he had an outstanding defensive game against James Blackman Jr.
Huge game, you're right, against Indiana.
Yeah, and Blackman Jr. injured his leg and is out indefinitely, unfortunately, for the Hoosiers. But Rahman did a nice job making it hard for Blackman Jr. to get going.
Harris, Wilson came over to close and still stays with him and alters the shot and picked up by Walton. He'll put up a 3. Derek Walton Jr. picked up by Wilson inside. Long player out of Sacramento. It's 2 for the Wolverines.
And John Beilein told us just about a half hour ago he'd like to see DJ get onto that offensive glass a little more. Excellent job that time pursuing the miss.
He's got the body to do it, too.
Yes, he does. He's long and bouncy and really has made great improvement, as we see. I think Mo Wagner
reaching in.
Picking up the foul there.
He's a sophomore from Berlin, Germany. Played for various national teams in his home country, but he picks up his first, and he will quickly check out. And the senior, Mark Donnell, will check in along with Duncan Robinson for the Wolverines. 2 early substitutions.
Robinson had a really strong game earlier this week against Indiana. 13 points, and his shot making is huge for Michigan.
He had 3 threes in 20 minutes on the floor. Knocked away right there. Irvin with the steal. Goes against Bridges. The hesitation, the scoop, and he can't get it. It's picked up by Harris. Now to Nairn. Oh, with a good-looking drive inside by Joshua Leonard. Oh, and slammed in. Ward uncovered. Coming off the weak side for the Spartans.
That's what Nick Ward gives you. He's a terrific offensive rebounder. rebounder, but off the turnover, Michigan State gets to the other end quickly.
There's a whistle. He goes inside. Ward, by the way, is the second leading freshman scorer in the Big Ten.
There you see Bridges getting it up on the rim initially, the defense scrambling, and that leaves Ward alone on the backside glass.
Langford just picked up a foul for Michigan State. The Spartans have not started a season like this in 13 years. Urban three, no. Rebound, Miles Bridges. They push it in a hurry. A lot of speed and athleticism on this Spartan team.
Sure is, and Tum Tum Nairn does a nice job pushing it. Good defensive transition by the Wolverines, though.
Bridges lost it inside. Good Michigan defense. We talked about that in the open. That has seemingly changed their season. Wilson, three for Michigan. No. Good-looking rebound right there by the 6-foot Walton.
He averages about 5 boards a game, does Walton, one of the better point guard rebounders in the Big Ten.
1,000-point scorer. He's getting very close to some very top marks in Michigan basketball history. Duncan Robinson, three after the push. Vanell inside, got it. Good two, nice high percentage shot.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Perhaps a technical foul on Tom Izzo. I think he voiced his displeasure with a non-call on the rebound putback. Perhaps he was arguing another bit of contact that he thought was a foul. I don't think it was necessarily on the rebound. It may have been prior to that, but nonetheless, Tom Izzo whistled for the tee.
He knows he's got his hands full, and he knew that with these freshmen coming in. But I even think him and all the things that he has learned throughout his 22 years coaching this team, with a 12-9 record, he did not see this coming.
Did not. It's uncharted water for him. He was anticipating having Gavin Schilling, a big-bodied senior, and Ben Carter, a transfer, also another big body to help blend in with this young group as Walton Jr. unable to convert the first free throw. And there was a technical foul called on Tom Izzo. I think he argued a call or voiced his displeasure with a non-call.
Walton, an 89% free throw shooter. So you're talking about a guy that is amongst the best in the conference. Watch at the top of the screen here, Tom arguing the play.
There he is right there, up top. And he apparently said a magic word or two.
And it wasn't good day.
No, it was not.
Kenny Goins is checked in. He's got the ball right now. He's a sophomore from Troy. Bridges, three, and his outside shooting has been a story and a good one here in East Lansing. Walton again the other way, pushing the tempo for the Wolverines. Coming in 14-7 overall.
That was a forced shot because he didn't catch the pass cleanly. Would have been better off moving the ball.
Wilson draws a crowd. Walton free to fire from three. Rebound by Aaron Harris from Indianapolis, Indiana. Began at West Virginia. Here's another three by Bridges. He got that to go. He leads them in scoring. Last 4 games, Clark, he's been averaging 21 a game for Michigan State.
Well, he's got that three-point range. He's excellent around the rim and just a terrific all-around player. I really like what this young man has shown in the diversity of his game.
Walton Nairn staying with him. Shot clock is down to 6. Donnell, a three. Got it. Pretty shot outside Mark Donnell, who is only 6 of 11 shooting threes all season long.
And he's got 5 of the 8 points for the Wolverines. So the quick substitution by John Beilein paying dividends.
He was a starter last season. He's had a very consistent year this year. That's a three, and it was way off that time from Alvin Ellis, who was checked in off the Tom Izzo bench. Walton again, he's out of Detroit, coached in high school by his dad at Chandler Park Academy. Wilson, good spin move, and he got the deuce.
You know, we talked to John Beilein. He said the strength that DJ Wilson has added over the last couple of years, getting healthy, has been a factor in his improvement. He's embraced defense, but he has tremendous skill. And you saw it there. He put the ball on the floor comfortably, good agility, and a nice pass inside Goins. Easy at the rim.
How about Alvin Ellis going inside with a beautiful pass? He's had some big games himself, but that time the assist was right on the money. Michigan has won 3 of 4. This is the best basketball they have played this season. Irvin, the spinner. Donnell, who's doing it all, lost it inside, stripped to the ball, and Bridges the other way. Ellis. And a shove and a foul on Donnell. We're in East Lansing. It's a 1-point Michigan lead on CBS.
I'm not the type to say any of this mushy garbage. You know what? I'm going for it. You are completely and
beating it, and he is a great story.
He really is a great story, and remarkable that that kind of time has passed since the beginning of this very public display of support for those fighting cancer by the coaches across the country.
Cassius Winston has come in. He is another freshman from Detroit Jesuit. And McQuaid has come in, too, for the Spartans. They play a lot of different players with a lot of different minutes. But this is Winston, and Tom Izzo has high praise for his passing.
Yeah, he's really good at decision-making, can get into the lane, and has a full arsenal of clever passes.
Quaid faked it, but that left open a wide-open Winston. And the rebound snared. And Ellis puts up a 3 and knocks it down. Alvin Ellis, a 38% three-point shooter.
Boy, he's giving them a nice injection of offense all season long off the bench. And one of the most indefensible plays in basketball is the offensive rebound three-point shot.
Well said. Michigan loves to take the 3. Set a team program record last season shooting threes with 342 made. Walton now, he'll take a triple. And inside, collecting the loose ball, Kenny Goins, his second rebound. And they push it down in a hurry. They have very little wasted movement.
They really don't, and good job by Michigan. And a great job by Winston to get it up over the shot-blocking DJ Wilson.
It's the biggest lead so far for Michigan State. Coming in at 12 and 9, 4 up and 4 down in the conference, as are the Wolverines. Michigan has won 2 straight, 3 of 4. Irvin seeing a lot of congestion inside. Picked up by Ellis. He'll take it the other way. Stepped out of bounds. Stepped down the chalk. Well, we talked about Michigan State losing to number 20 Purdue here Tuesday, 84-73. And that was a tough one, while Michigan beat Indiana Clark by the unfathomable number of 30 in Ann Arbor on Thursday. A surprising score.
It really was a surprising score, but I watched the game, and Michigan was superb. Offensively, they were very efficient. They turned Indiana over 16 times, only had 6 turnovers themselves, and really were active defensively. Not overpowering defensively, Kevin, but active. Deflections, forcing turnovers, challenging shots. And then they had 6 guys in double figures as well.
Now the question is, can they take that same performance, can they take that act on the road where they've not won this year?
That is the big question. So far, Bagel on the road.
Xavier Simpson has come in for Michigan. That's a missed shot outside by Wilson. With a shove. University of Michigan basketball coach.
Yeah, never has been an assistant coach. Has always been in charge of his teams in his long, successful career as a head coach. His son Patrick is at Lemoyne College in his second year as a head coach, having a good season himself, 15 and 5 at this point. And Michigan State doing a little more work inside than Michigan is. Not surprising, but that is what Michigan wants to do here, is force turnovers and try to score in the open court if they can.
Abdul Rahman is in. Here is the freshman, Simpson. He was the Ohio Mr. Basketball. Wilson remains on the floor. Wagner on top and left, and a good pass inside. Wilson had the position. Bridges there to meet him. Shot clock is down to 7 with a travel.
DJ Wilson has to be aggressive there. I know Bridges has the ability to go up top, but he's got a few inches on him, and when you catch that ball on the block, you've got to be thinking score. He never really looked at the basket. He was just trying to pass it.
And I think John Beilein just said that as Zach Irvin takes his place for the Wolverines.
Yeah, they run that play to get him on the block, and with his touch and size and mobility, he's got to be thinking score.
Langford a freshman. Winston a freshman.
Ward is a young fella as well.
Oh,
Nick Ward is a freshman out there.
Winston across the lane, knocked away, it looked like, by Robinson with a foul, and is on the Wolverines. Well, tonight, what does a cheater do when drugs aren't enough to win a race? How about hiding a high-tech motor in his bike? 60 Minutes investigates a new kind of cheating. That's tonight. Only CBS. Kevin Harlan, Clark Kellogg. Foul goes on Simpson. He picks up his first. He is the point guard of the future for the Michigan Wolverines, and who better to teach him the ropes than Derek Walton Jr., the record-setting senior guard. But Simpson is a guy that they've got circled, and here comes Walton now for Simpson.
Yep. Simpson gets spot minutes in an effort to give Derek Walton Jr. a break. He and Zach Irvin playing well above 35 minutes a game. And so anytime John Beilein can buy a few minutes for those guys, he tries to do so.
Little 9-0 run for the Spartans, Clark, here midway through the first half.
Kind of a methodical run, and
yes,
some of it has been, you'd have to attribute it to the good defense that Michigan State has played. A number of forced perimeter shots by Michigan. I think the Wolverines have to look to try to get the ball inside, either off the dribble, like that, or off the pass, but you can't just rely on drive-through eating. You've got to go inside some.
And they do so successfully there with Abdur Rahman with a spinner inside by McQuaid. Wagner cleans it up. And throw on top of that Michigan is just 1 of 8 on three-point shooting right now, and they are a 46% team from beyond the arc.
The quality of the shots, though, has not been that good, Kevin. I think only 2 of those 8 three-point attempts have been of good quality. The others have been challenged.
And that 46% over the last 5 games. Wagner held and fouled inside. Looked like Nick Ward.
Yep.
The least heralded of all these freshmen, who has been maybe the biggest surprise of all the freshmen, picks up the personal foul. Ward, who's from Ohio, one of the top 40 high school players in the country, has already been a 3-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week.
Yeah, he's from Gahanna, which is a suburb next to Westerville, where I live. Did not see him play in high school, but everybody who did follow him marvels at what he's done with his body and the level of production he's provided in his first year here as a Spartan.
Duncan Robinson, a Division III transfer, getting a full ride at Division I Michigan, knocks down the 3. There's a foul on the perimeter, and Abdur Rahman will pick it up. And he picks up his second of the game.
So you see what happens here, Kevin. Michigan makes an intentional effort to get the ball inside the last couple of possessions. They do so off the dribble with Rahman. They throw it inside the DJ Wilson. And now they get a quality three-point look from Duncan Robinson because they've probed inside. It's kind of like in boxing. You go to the body so that you can maybe get something above the neck.
Completely different way to attack, but it helps the other.
Yeah, exactly. Complementary.
Just halfway through the first half here in East Lansing. Michigan at Michigan State. Harris, Langford, almost pickpocketed right there. Cutting his bridges. What a great spin move inside, but he can't get it to go, but he does get the rebound. And it still won't go. And here come the Wolverines led by Derek Walton Jr.
Well, he missed DJ Wilson. He was alone at the rim.
Who just checked back in the game. Michigan scored 90 points the other night against Indiana. As Clark was talking about, they didn't have one player who took more than 9 shots in the game. Zach Irvin. Cassius Winston inside. Good-looking athletic catch by Ward. He's 3 of 3, Clark.
And good early attack there.
Yes.
Nick Ward did a nice job rim running and then getting sweet post position, and Winston put it to him right on target and on time.
Decisive.
Yeah, very much so.
Michigan is 6 of 19. Great hustle right there. Winston digging it out. Wagner in there trying to grab it himself.
A little sandpaper in the air here, partner. Rivalry game. Wagner was a little casual going after it, and Winston came in with purpose and intentionality, and that's why he came up with the pumpkin. And then a little bit of bluster afterwards, but nothing beyond that. Wagner's got to be much stronger and aggressive going after a loose ball if he really wants it. Winston earned it with his effort.
Tum Tum Nairn is checked in along with Kenny Goins for the Michigan State Spartans. RPI of 51 against the top 25, just 1-5. We were talking to Tom Izzo before the game this morning. He said, you know what, we need to focus for an entire game. We need consistency, which is so difficult for freshmen. There is a Michigan foul with the reach, and it goes on Robinson for the first time.
Yeah, you make a great point there, Kevin. When you think about all of the distractions and noise that are part of our culture now, for all of us, but particularly for young people, the noise from family, from friends, from social media, and the ability to be resilient and sustain concentration and effort in a focused manner is one of the great challenges that all coaches encounter at this level of basketball.
So what do? I mean,
you just continue to fight the fight. You continue to fight the fight. There are ways to handle this accelerating age of technology, but it is a challenge. It's an extreme challenge.
Especially these heavy, decorated high school players that come to big-time programs like Michigan and Michigan State. Harris with a drive and a rejection by Wilson. The other way comes Duncan, but the defense back there for Michigan State. 8 to play in the first half. Duncan thought 3, drives inside. Hammered as he takes it in, knocked away. Great defense by Kenny Goins.
And a good no call because there was no foul. That was good defense that time by Michigan State. We got good action here at the Breslin Center. DJ Wilson, not in my house. Get that out of here. And then Goins squeezes Duncan Robinson. We're back in just a minute.
Family, two new
granddaughters.
2 new granddaughters.
Yeah, 4 months old, and man, I tell you, it's a joy that's indescribable.
Oh,
thank you.
We're so happy for you.
Thank you, sir.
You are a blessed man.
Indeed. We're blessed to be courtside in a rivalry game here on CBS between Michigan and Michigan State. One of the things I'm looking for is, can the starters get going for Michigan? Derek Walton Jr., Zach Irvin, DJ Wilson. Half of the points have come from off the bench between Donnell and Duncan Robinson so far for the Wolverines.
Tum Tum Nairn has it. Gets it out to Langford. Harris is out there. Bridges and Goins. That's the Spartan 5. Harris, long 2.
Michigan State thus far, Kevin, has been the more efficient offensive team. We saw those numbers, 6 of 20 shooting for Michigan, and Michigan State, not a lot better, but 8 of 18 now after that made field goal.
DJ Wilson works on Goins. Hard shot. Last win that Michigan had over Michigan State, February 2014. 4 straight Spartan wins over the Wolverines. They only met once last season. Switch on defense. Now they're back. Harris. He'll dance on Irvin. Wilson again knocking it away with the long reach. Thursday on CBS, one detective plays by the rules, another breaks them. From the producers at CSI, a whole new day begins. Training Day premieres Thursday at 10, 9 Central. Only CBS.
Back to the point I made earlier, 8 of the 15 points for the Wolverines come from the bench. Michigan State getting a little better distribution of its point total. Offensive foul on Harris.
Sure was.
Got the chicken wing out. You can keep it tight to your body, you're fine, but when you extend it, then that's when that chicken wing gets you a foul.
Now Michigan Clark this afternoon struggling from the floor, 27%. The last 5 games they've shot 51% overall and 46%, as we said earlier, from 3.
And shooting percentage to me, Kevin, always a function of what kind of shots are you getting. Michigan State's defense has been good, but I think Michigan has settled for far too many challenge perimeter shots. They've got to try to get that ball inside off the dribble or the pass.
Robinson triple. Another miss with a rebound by Miles Bridges. He's got 7 boards. Nice maneuvering Harris. Bridges against Wilson. Hold on! There he goes, Bridges, leading a 6-0 Michigan State run. One of the big issues for Michigan State was their perimeter defense. Today it has been pretty good.
And some of that is because they knew that Michigan wouldn't look intently to get the ball inside. Tough shot, but a good made field goal by Derek Walton Jr.
His first 1 of 5 is Walton.
Miles Bridges, so good with the ball, so explosive around the rim. And the early attack there, Kevin, sometimes you don't get it on the initial thrust, but when you're constantly pushing that ball up quickly, you can get cross matches, you get the defense scrambling, and one quick move can get you to the basket because the defense is unsettled.
Good point. He had the 33 points against Purdue on Tuesday. That was a Michigan State freshman scoring record. And think of all the great freshmen they've had here. He had 33 Tuesday.
And he was brilliant in getting those 33.
That one just caught some wind, and Alvin Ellis throws it away, the senior from Madison, Illinois. That was aerodynamically.
Oh, man.
Tom Izzo. 19 consecutive NCAA tournaments, but they are in danger territory, making it 20 in a row.
Well, right now, again, the season doesn't stop now, so you got plenty of time. But
yes.
If it was cut off right now, neither one of these teams would be in the field.
Right now, Michigan State in the worst 5-game stretch since 2011. Wagner, 3, book it.
That's what I'm talking about when I talk shot quality.
Right, yeah, you can see
That's
it.
a pick and pop. The defender is late, and he's capable of making that shot. So that's a quality look at the three-point shot there.
And patience. Here's Bridges launching a triple.
That's
Walton's
less quality right there.
Exactly.
One pass, the defense is there.
Wilson, 3, may have been deflected, got the miss, and puts it in with a runner. Another errant pass. Getting a little ragged right now, little loose.
I think Tom Izzo is okay with the aggressiveness, but you have to balance it with discretion.
Right.
In that case, I think that shot was blocked, Kevin, as you called, and Wilson just traced it down. And you see there his agility, his touch, his length all on display. As he gets more confident and assertive going to the basket, he'll take some of those shots all the way to the rim instead of pulling up for the little 3 or 4 footer.
7-0 Michigan run right now. Under 4 to play in the first half. Walton, tough manufacture, but he got it to go against the defending Winston.
That's the senior strength against a freshman who's not quite as strong yet.
But will be someday.
Yes.
Terrific high school player. Winston penetrates inside and a foul. Wagner, yes.
Oh, that Michigan bench almost erupted, and the fans want a technical, but none called on John Beilein and his staff.
Michigan 9-0 run on CBS.
Free Koenig, one of the best clutch performers in the Big Ten, and Jamel Artis has been outstanding, although Pitt has really kind of hit some major turbulence of late.
Kevin Stallings took one on the chin the other night.
Yeah.
Big.
That was Louisville. I think was it Louisville that got him?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I think it was plus 50.
One of the worst losses in the history of their program.
Yeah, it was a big number. But they only count for one on either side of the ledger.
That's what the coaches are saying, too. Tomorrow is another day.
Yeah.
Here, Clark, Michigan has put together a nice little stretch where they've gone 4 of 5. Winston is at the line right now, and the Michigan starters are beginning to score.
Yeah, they are percolating a bit. DJ Wilson in particular, Derek Walton. Irvin is yet to score, but nice little 9-0 run until those free throws.
John Teske is checked in for the Wolverines. Zach Irvin is a bit short. With the rebound pulled down by Alvin Ellis, and they go the other way in a hurry. Ward finally catches up with it and then loses the ball. It was an awkward toss, and it was a very tough game.
The right pass to the wrong guy is the wrong pass.
Yes.
Okay? I'll run that by you again.
One more time.
The right pass to the wrong guy is the wrong pass. And you could add the wrong time as well. Wasn't much Ward would have been able to do with that had he even caught it clean.
But the fast break is getting good to the Spartans. 7-0 in that category over the Wolverines this afternoon. Wilson sees an open baseline with the runner. Teske's in there trying to get it, and it is picked up by newly instated Kyle Arns. Just checked in. McQuaid is also checked in for the Spartans.
Kevin, I made the point about DJ Wilson getting stronger. That shot is a prime example. No reason to flip up kind of a soft shot there when you got his ability. That's one that eventually he's going to look to take aggressively to throw it down on somebody.
Chowski picked up the foul for Michigan. At the free throw line is Nick Ward. He's lost some weight, too, since he's gotten on campus in June. They say like over 30 pounds, and he's really been able to help his speed and quickness. One of the greatest Super Bowl commercials of all time. We've got him, and you'll love him. Don't miss an all-new Super Bowl greatest commercials. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS.
Yeah, you're exactly right about Ward, and that's a credit to the young man. Anytime you see a guy transform his body like that, that's all him. Committing to the work and the process, and then reaping the fruits of that labor.
Will dance on the freshman Winston. Wilson across the lane. Teske. And they keep it alive with yet another offensive rebound for the Michigan Wolverines. They lead in that category. That's their 7th of the game.
Yep. It's allowed them to get quite a few more shot attempts than Michigan State.
Good throw. Wilson inside and finds Robinson cutting. Great pass.
Really was. He's got all the tools, DJ Wilson. He can handle it. He blocks shots. He can rebound it. He can pass. He shoots it out to the 3. All I'd like to see is him get stronger, and he will, and become more assertive in attacking the basket on offense.
Robinson picked up the foul right there. DJ Wilson from Sacramento. He has the pass right there. Devontae Jalen Wilson. He was destined to become a Wolverine. Jalen after the Fab Five Jalen that we know so well. Jalen Rose.
Good cut that time by Robinson as well, Kevin. And head up and the right pass at the right speed by DJ Wilson there.
Ibby Watson will check in for the Wolverines. The freshman from Pickerington, Ohio. Same hometown as Karis LeVert. 2:06 to play here in the first half. So Clark, as we widen the lens a little bit and take a look at the first 18 minutes of the game, what has caught your attention with Coach Beilein on one side and Coach Izzo watching the Spartans on the other?
Well, the blend of offensive attack for Michigan State has been pretty good. They've gotten some inside. They've gotten a little bit in transition. They've made 1 or 2 threes, I think, made a couple of threes. Michigan, on the other hand, initially was all perimeter, but lately have gone inside some.
Watson on the wing. We've had 8 lead changes and 5 ties in our first half.
And both teams getting after it pretty good defensively, too.
We began the broadcast telling you the defense has been the calling card for Michigan as they've won 2 in a row and 3 of 4. Walton in a torture chamber with Nairn on him. Nairn the other way. Lou Rawls, Nairn Jr. Ellis. McQuaid got a good screen from Goins that opened the door, and he pops in a triple.
Well, that's big for Matt McQuaid and the Spartans. He has struggled with his perimeter shot all season long.
He was a 44% three-point shooter last year, 33% this year. He is in a slump, but that can do wonders in a big game like this. Irvin will attack. And did he step out of bounds or was he shoved? Looks like he was perhaps shoved on the play with a foul. Coming up in the AT&T at the half, Adam and Seth will get you caught up on the other action going on today in college basketball, as well as a recap of Saturday's upsets throughout the college game. Big win for Kansas and Lexington at Rupp against Kentucky. All coming up on the AT&T at the half. Xavier Simpson, Ohio's Mr. Basketball, with the ball right now. The future at that point, as we mentioned before. But Walton is the current, the senior who leads them. Good feed. Donnell inside. Caught it, was shoved, and a foul.
Really well executed play here. Drive the baseline. Know you've got a big guy running to the rim down the middle, and Simpson. Nice little pocket bounce pass there to Donnell.
Starter a year ago, as I mentioned, Goins just picked up his first. Talk too about one thing that Michigan is so good in, Clark, and that is not the self-inflicted wounds. They don't have hardly any turnovers a game, just 9 coming in. That's number 1 in college basketball, the fewest turnovers in college basketball, and they commit the 5th fewest fouls, which is kind of an interesting number too. In the top 10 in that category college basketball wide for a 5th straight year.
And you know, those numbers you cite give you a chance to be successful even if you aren't overpowering defensively. And we know this Michigan team is not an overpowering physical team defensively, so they rely on not fouling, playing position defense, getting some turnovers forced, and winning the turnover game by taking care of the ball and then forcing turnovers at the other end. So those are important numbers for a team built the way that Michigan is.
Difference of about 8 seconds here. Game clock and shot clock winding down the first half in East Lansing. 14-7 Michigan, 12-9 Michigan State with the timeout taken right here. Clock at 24, the shot clock at 15 will step aside on CBS. They also know that it comes, it seems like, every year with more challenges, something you touched on earlier.
Yeah, exactly. But the rewards are great.
Huge.
You get a chance to mold and shape young men, not just for now, but for their futures, and you get a chance to enjoy competition.
Nairn. Goins. Here's Bridges. Coming off a 33-point game on Tuesday, he gets a floater to go. Bridges has put in 7 in the first half for the Michigan State Spartans. Irvin dancing. He'll put up a contested 3. Nairn was right there. How about that? Nairn, who only stands about 5'10" against the 6'6" senior Zach Irvin. Irvin is 0 of 6 from the floor.
Been a struggle in this first half. They'll need him to turn that around in the second half if they want to get a road win.
Michigan State has lost 3 in a row. Michigan looking for their first Big Ten road win. You see our score at the half from snowy East Lansing. Let's take you to Adam Zucker in our CBS studios in New York.
Probably high quality, maybe 2 that he would take a mulligan on if he could. But I love his activity. He's got 2 block shots as well. And you talk to the coaches about this young man, and they say how eager he is to learn and to grow and how well he accepts coaching. Nick Ward talked about how he had improved his body since being here as a Spartan and how effective he's been when he stayed on the floor. Ward actually was able to play. Well, he played only 8 minutes, but was in no foul trouble. Actually just had 1 foul, so Tom Izzo, I'm sure, is happy. And you talk about the efficiency. 3 chances, 3 makes.
Michigan State comes in, having lost 3 in a row. They haven't lost 4 in a row since 2007. They haven't started like this with a 12-9 mark and 4-4 in conference play. They haven't started like this in 13 years. So here we go. Michigan shot 63% Thursday against Indiana, as we saw 32% so far today. Walton 3, trying to get it started the right way, and does with a triple.
Quality look off a little bit of pseudo penetration by Zach Irvin.
Wolverines have won 2 straight and 3 of 4. They tried the reverse and a beautiful dive by Aaron Harris.
Tough make that time by Harris. He was bumped a bit, but really well challenged there and still found a way to get it up and down.
Michigan looking for their first road win in the Big Ten. Walton, another 3. He's knocked down a couple triples. He came into this game. Clark over the last 5, 10 of 18 from 3. And he struggled in the first half and 2 straight here to begin the second.
Back to back, and guess who assisted on both? Zach Irvin, the 2 seniors who provided outstanding leadership all season long for this team, getting the Wolverines off to a good start here in the second half.
6th tie. Langford, Bridges, and his triple will not drop. And off the fingertips, inside and out of bounds, Joshua Langford. What about some adjustments, Clark, for these 2 teams here in the second half?
Well, I think when you look at Michigan State, it's about better defensive rebounding, and Michigan, although they've made their first 2 shots from behind the 3-point line, I still think they need to have a balanced diet offensively. They do need to get some opportunities in the paint area, either off the dribble or some cutting post-ups in the half court.
Goins is in for Ward. The try by Bridges, no good. Wagner got the loose ball with a rebound, his 3rd. He's collected today. Walton. Nairn is defending.
Nice job, too, he did defensively.
Michigan 0 of 5 in true road games. This is an issue, certainly for the committee. Wide to fire, Abdur Rahman. Nice defense, and across the lane is where he goes. Defended on the play by Harris. Nairn with all his speed the other way, and drives to the rack and knocked away by Walton.
Boy, that was textbook perfect defense by Aaron Harris. Late in the shot clock against a pretty good offensive player in Abdur Rahman, and he made him take a tough shot. And then at the other end, quick attack by Nairn, and Walton Jr. guilty of the foul.
That's the first on him. Here is Lou Rawls' Tum Tum Nairn, who is terrific in the Big Ten in terms of assists, 7th overall, number 2 in assist to turnover ratio. From Nassau, Bahamas, moved to the U.S. when he was 13. Had a couple of decent games, especially that game against Penn State in early January. Clark had 13 in that game. He averages 4 a game, but we can see he can get it up and down the floor in a hurry.
Yeah, and he gives them great leadership, excellent ball pressure at the point of attack defensively. And between he and Winston, they get pretty good production other than perimeter shooting from the point guard position.
Wagner on top, Abdur Rahman. Here's the senior Irvin, got the screen, switch on defense, makes the move. Zach Irvin, the drive, and he tried the reverse, it would not go. Nairn the other way, accelerates into Walton, and a foul.
Walton Jr. stepped in and took the charge, anticipated nicely here to cut off Nairn. And this is a hard thing to do, but a good job, and I think the right call. Those are always hard calls, but he anticipated, was square. I think that's a good call. Nice job by Derek Walton Jr. there.
Nairn will leave, and Cassius Winston will check in for the Spartans.
One of my pet peeves, when you have the ball and you're a good ball handler, you should be able to get a shot one-on-one in transition. Whether you have to slow down, change direction, but you shouldn't predetermine your move until you know exactly where that defender is.
Spartans knock away that backdoor drop. They go inside, they can't convert. Harris had it knocked away. Abdur Rahman the other way. Irvin, Wilson, Wagner.
Got to go to work here, Mo.
He does. On Goins. Oh, nice spin move with a fake, and he gets the 2.
And I said that because he was wide open, one-on-one, no help. He's got a size advantage. You can't give that ball back to anybody when you catch it in that position.
And not in tight quarters either. Had some maneuverability.
Sure, had all kind of room and did a nice job with it.
Tapped away. Will not be an over and back. Knocked away by the Wolverines. Winston with a shot clock at 10. With a screen and a switch. Pick and roll. Goins. Did he save it? Nope, stepped out of bounds. Goins wearing that heavy brace on his knee from an injury of a year ago.
Also suffered a
broken nose
too recently. Good job by Wagner. Excellent footwork and patience. Surveyed the situation. Knew he was one-on-one. And did exactly what you should do in that situation. Get a quality shot and put it in the hole.
Goins broke that nose in the loss to Purdue. In fact, his old teammate inadvertently caught him with an elbow.
That's exactly right.
He fouled out in that game against Purdue. Goins did. From Troy, Warren Mott High School here in Michigan. Wilson on top. Doubled and uses the glass very well. 8 for him.
Nice job on the roll there by DJ Wilson. And a couple of threes and a couple of inside buckets for the Wolverines, Kevin. That's the kind of balance that John Beilein wants to see.
Langford misses it all. Michigan State 5 consecutive misses. McQuaid fetches the ball, and because it didn't hit the rim on that shot from outside, shot clock is down to 5. Look at the speed of Winston inside. Cassius Winston, the Michigan High School Basketball Player of the Year, puts it in, the freshman from Detroit. Good fake by Wilson. Dive by McQuaid, and Winston's got the ball. Langford, the slash, the scoop, and the foul. Cassius Winston with a nice play inside. One of the most sought-after players in the country. takes it to the rack. He gets the 2. Timeout, and East Lansing.
Because footlongs are the limousines of hot dogs.
In East Lansing, let's now take a look at the AT&T Fast Analysis.
Number of young fellas getting work done for the Spartans. That's Nick Ward inside and Cassius Winston getting his body into the shot blocker and finishing. And Miles Bridges, the star of the quartet of freshmen, having another solid effort here today.
Well, these freshmen you talk about, the most productive in the Izzo era at Michigan State. They've had the freshman of the week in 6 of the 10 weeks so far. Bridges is the number 2 freshman scorer. Magic Johnson was at 17 points a game as a freshman, and Bridges is literally just percentage points or just tenths of a point in back of him.
Yeah.
So he is setting some very interesting numbers with the great Magic number 33 hanging high over the court here. This team revolves around Bridges in so many ways.
I agree with you, and it's unfortunate that Schilling and Carter are unavailable because of injury as you look at one of the most unique and outstanding players of all time, Earvin Magic Johnson. Proudly supports his Spartans, and if he's able, I'm sure he's tuned in, pulling hard for the green and white.
Bill Rockman on top, Wagner on the side. Urban has it now. Wilson on top. Bridges is on him. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Wagner. Defended by Goins. Pretty play.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Took his time, knew he could get a shot, and went to work. Michigan now, I think 5 of 7 in this second half shooting.
McQuaid. He's from Duncanville, Texas. His dad played at Central Michigan.
And I like seeing that for that young man, too.
Yes.
Because he has struggled, as you indicated, 33% this year versus 40+% from the three-point line, and has banged in 2 here today.
State by 2. They've led by 7. Here is a Michigan foul.
Michigan's foul on 13.
Wagner is 3rd.
Little penetration by Bridges, and Earvin just lost track of McQuaid. Knew he had made a mistake as soon as McQuaid let it go. But his body positioning was bad there, and that led to the open look for McQuaid.
Michigan will not out-physical you. They are not a physical team.
That's right. They are more long and rangy, want to be disruptive that way. Not so much for body-to-body contact, but you can be effective either way.
And they've shown it.
Yes.
Back in the game is Ward. They quickly put the clamps on him. Ellis. Bridges. Oh, look at him fly inside. Miles Bridges.
Terrific ball movement and attacking off the dribble by Michigan State here. Alvin Ellis, and then attack the closeout. By that, folks, I mean when a defender is coming at you and he's not in good position, you need to attack him. And that's exactly what Michigan State twice there. First Ellis and then Bridges, and he got all the way to the rim. And he gets anywhere in that restricted arc area, it's going to be hard to keep him from getting it up over the rim.
He's from Flint, like Cleves and Peterson, Bell.
Yep.
They've had success there.
The Flintstones.
Yes, sir. And Tom Izzo raved about this kid before the game to us this morning. Said he's as good a kid as I've ever had.
Yep, extremely coachable.
Yeah.
Wants to maximize his ability.
He's had a lot of them like that here, though. Draymond Green, and they run him down the line. They go inside. Wilson got the deflected ball. Shot clock at 3. That is a 3, and it will not drop for Duncan Robinson. Oh, Ward's got position.
That is so good. Quick rim run and post up.
You talked about that all afternoon.
Yep, that's how you do it. Get into it quickly. And Ward is excellent finishing when he catches it in the low box.
The Spartans on a 7-0 run. More than 7 minutes gone in the second half. Abdul Rahman. Walton. Screen, drive, split, scoop, no foul inside with 7 on the clock.
Words for Bridges and Walton Jr. But here's Ward. Excellent post position. You see him keep Donnell on his backside. No way he could get around him. And an excellent bounce pass right where it needed to be. And then Ward finishes it just like you're supposed to.
Winston just picked up his first at the 12:46 mark here of the second half.
Yeah, and Bridges and Derek Walton Jr. doing a little bit of jaw jacking. Nothing out of the norm there. Heated rivalry game.
A lot of these kids, Clark, a lot of these kids from Michigan have played in the AU together and against each other and everything else.
A lot of ammunition for friction, if you will.
That's right.
And not to mention what's at stake at this point in the season. And Tom Izzo coaching as always.
But interestingly, Walton for Michigan is the only rotational irregular from the state of Michigan on the Wolverines who really knows this rivalry full time. He played here as a freshman. He had an incredible game as a freshman in this building for Michigan, but hasn't played here since. He'll drive here and try the reverse in Van Dyke, who just checked in. Matt Van Dyke will pick up the foul. His first. With the clock at 12:31, Wednesday on CBS, the greatest manhunt continues. And for the teams on the run, a single mistake could lead to capture. Don't miss a new episode of Hunted Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on CBS. With Derek Walton Jr. at the free throw line. Think of all the great players Michigan has had. He could become, Clark, the first Michigan Wolverine ever to score 1,000 points, which he has done, have over 500 rebounds and 400 assists. So we're talking about a cavalcade of great players at that position, but he could become the first in those categories altogether.
And it's unique because he's a point guard, and you look at 500 rebounds. He's one of the outstanding point guard rebounders in the conference, always has been. I asked him about it last season, and he says simply that I pursue the ball. I go after it. And point guards should be rebounders because oftentimes their guy is typically not going to go to the glass. And as a result, you've got a free run at missed shots, particularly on the defensive end.
You start initiating that transition. Who better in the hands of a guard?
There you go.
Move it up court. McQuaid is picked up by Robinson on top. Ellis, Abdul Rahman is on him.
Nice job by Donnell. The front, Nick Ward down inside there.
Xavier Simpson is in. He's trying to stay with Winston. He'll fall and drop it! Holy smokes! Count it!
Well, I tell you what, this young fella has a lot of moxie, Kevin, because the way he handled this situation against contact, see how he protected the ball there, got his body in between the ball and the defender, and then got a nice soft shot up on the rim. That is skill and moxie. See, he knew he was going to get some contact and also knew he would have a chance to get that shot up as he drew the foul. Really nicely done.
He's a 67% free throw shooter and just put that in. And he has just given Michigan State their biggest lead this afternoon. And they're leading in the rebounding category, and rebounding has been an issue because they have size issues. There's not a lot of length and size for Michigan State.
Tenacity can make up for it, though, and being in good position at the start of your defense so you can block out effectively.
Yeah, good position. You said it. Flown foul call. 11:35 to go. Michigan State by 7 on /Lacey. Adrian Payne began with the Atlanta Hawks. Now he's with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kind heart and made a big difference in the lives of Lacey and certainly her mom and dad, who are here today.
Yeah, the intersection of sport doing good in general.
Yes.
For other folks, and that's always great to see. Heartening to see that kind of connection and impact.
Clark, I'm looking at Michigan's top scorer, Zach Irvin. And he comes in averaging 14 points a game, had 12 the other night against Indiana. But today, shockingly, 0 of 7.
And Michigan, I don't think, can win if he doesn't get going at some point. Michigan State has had more guys contribute, and this guy's been the catalyst of this recent run, Cassius Winston, with his driving ability, passing, and scoring.
Ellis throws inside. There was a whistle and a foul.
I'm going to say Nick Ward, I think, was wiping away. And Tom Izzo visiting with Mike Eads, wondering how could that go against Nick Ward. Let's see. We caught the tail end of it there. But he may have gotten the swim stroke involved, and that's all it could have been to merit the whistle in that situation.
Wagner lost it on a lob from Irvin. By the way, Izzo has already been slapped with the tee this afternoon. Michigan State the other way. Clark, they start the half 1-6. Fell behind 38-36. 5 of 5 since. Right now, the Spartans on an 11-4 run.
And this guy's been in the middle of it all. Cassius Winston again, operating in the pick and roll, getting into the teeth of the defense for himself or a teammate. That time he found Ward.
Michigan State has made 6 in a row. They've beaten Michigan 4 consecutive games. Good pass, lunging inside. Ellis deflects it away.
And the defense on the perimeter has really made it tough for Michigan to run its offense effectively.
And that's been a weak spot for Michigan State perimeter defense.
It has been. But again, I think they know that Michigan is not a team that's going to pound you in the post. So they've been very aggressive on the perimeter defensively. Michigan, to counter that, has to get going quicker into its offensive sets quicker and then be more aggressive in trying to take that ball off the dribble.
Walton will take it right here. Driving into Ellis. Outside. Abdur-Rahkman laces a 3. Timeout taken by Michigan. Muhammad Ali, Abdur-Rahkman averages 8 a game. Had 3 threes against Indiana the other night.
A little below their norm in percentage. And some of the trends of their recent road work troubles showing up. 53% shooting for Michigan State. That's about what teams have shot from the floor against Michigan on the road. To overcome that, you've got to make sure you win the turnover game, only ±1 in turnovers, and then you've got to make your open three-pointers when you get them.
Clark's been talking about Winston. He's got it now, but they trap him for the first time today.
Yeah, he went over the line.
He sure did, and the trap worked.
Yep, and he picked it up at a bad spot. You got to get rid of it sooner, and you certainly don't want to pick it up there.
Good move by head coach John Beilein, who's taken 4 Division I teams to the NCAAs. One of only 12 coaches ever to do that.
Element of surprise.
Yes, sir. Out of that timeout. Good play. Here's Irvin. Scoreless from the field. The drive, Walton. The crash, the fumble. And here come the Spartans racing the other way. Bridges into 2. McQuaid a 3. He has got the stroke this afternoon. A flamethrower from outside for the Spartans. 9, and he's 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Matt McQuaid from Duncanville, Texas. 9.5 to go. Walton with the dance. Abdur-Rahkman hit a 3 last time he fired. He's pickpocketed. It's McQuaid with a foot race and a drive. And picked up by Wagner. Michigan 6 turnovers their last 9 possessions. Irvin, little crossover on Winston. Into Wagner, another turnover. With a drive right there by Alvin Ellis, who took it, was driving and was fouled on the play.
Michigan State getting big contributions from its bench off the turnover in transition. Numbers game, penetration pitch. Matt McQuaid has found his stroke today. He's made 3 triples, and he's part of 20-something points from that bench. I mean, Winston has 11, McQuaid has 9, and Goins with 2, and Ellis with 5.
At the line, get the CBS Sports app for inside access to Michigan, Michigan State, or your favorite team. Get instant coverage of every moment from every angle. Download the CBS Sports app today. We talk about Michigan threes. We know that last year, Michigan State led college basketball in three-point shooting percentage, 43%, a school record. Trying to replace Bryn Forbes and Denzel Valentine, very difficult. This year, Michigan State 38% beyond the arc.
Yep, and they've been really balanced offensively. And the bench, though, has been a big story today for Michigan State. They've been outstanding.
11 Spartans average 9 minutes. 7 have played in all 21 games. They go to the bench and they use it well. Nice move, Wilson. Rebound inside by Kenny Goins. A lot of quality time here for Cassius Winston.
Well, he's been so good that Tom Izzo doesn't want to take him off the floor. And they're getting good shots. He's scoring when he's had chances. The offense is running nicely with him in charge.
Izzo said Winston, the kid with the ball right now, the best passer at Michigan State since Magic Johnson. High praise. Shot clock at 2. Better shoot like Magic here. Hoisting and missing. And picked up by Bridges.
Boy, did that graze the rim? I couldn't tell,
Kevin. Tell either.
There was no call, but
they may review it.
I think you're right.
I haven't seen him swirl his arm. 11 points and 11 rebounds. Bridges. Robinson way outside. He hits it for Ypsilanti. Timeout taken. I'm certain they're going to review. 7:44 to go. Michigan State 57-48.
Been a struggle because of the inside presence of Nick Ward for Michigan State. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but they've had a tough time handling him when he has gotten it in there. And then the three-point shooting and the bench play. Matt McQuaid, Cassius Winston in particular, as well as Ellis III, have all been excellent off the bench.
Bridges dancing inside. Michigan State is on a 21-10 run right now. And over the last 8 minutes, they have hit 8 of their last 10 shots. The Spartans have. So here comes Michigan. They're not getting much from their bench. The Wolverines not getting a lot of production.
And that typically is the case. That's why it's so critical for Zach Irvin to produce as he normally does. And he's had a tough day today, and he walked right there.
He sure did.
Didn't get his feet underneath him. It's been a hard struggle for Zach Irvin. Credit Michigan State's perimeter defense, and there you see him take the extra step. But the ability of being able to play multiple guys on Irvin and the depth of Michigan State, I think that's been part of the factor here.
And the turnovers for Michigan, they have been pronounced. And Goins, and almost slammed in on the miss. Harris tried to slam in the Goins miss. Let's talk really quickly about the turnovers. Michigan has had 8 turnovers in the last 10 minutes, and again, as we repeated earlier, they are #1 in all of college basketball in fewest turnovers a game, yet 8 in the last 10, which has fueled Michigan State.
It really has. It has fueled this run. And there you see the difference in the half. 8 turnovers against 7 field goals made by Michigan.
Robinson 3. Rebound by Bridges. And a whistle.
I think it was Kenny Goins on a bit of a nudge on that weak side rebound position. I'll tell you, Michigan State's perimeter defense has been good from the start. Michigan has only found occasional success getting the ball inside, and dribble penetration has basically been shut off by the Spartans.
You're talking about Michigan State bench score, and they've outscored the opponent's bench 19 of 21 games.
Yes, yeah. Tom plays a lot of people typically, and he's got an excellent contribution from his reserves here today.
6.5 to go.
And again, Michigan a little slow getting into its offense, and with the defensive pressure, that means fighting the shot clock more times than not here in this second half, and Nairn going to be guilty of the foul there.
Nairn picks up his second. Look at Tom Izzo, 3rd all-time in Big Ten wins. And what is amazing, certainly when you see the rotation of coaches at schools, one after the other, he's one of just 2 coaches in the last 41 years at Michigan State. Judd Heathcote was here 19. Tom in his 22nd season at East Lansing as a head coach.
Yep.
Wagner shuffling, scoring across the lane. 9 for him, 3 in a row.
More of that is what Michigan could use, and then they'll get some perimeter shots when they release that pressure by going inside.
Ellis against Irvin. Bridges, nice ball rotation, patience on the outside. McQuaid picked up by Robinson. The lunge by Walton. The pickup and big shot by Nairn.
Wow. Woo! With a smile on the face of Tum Tum there.
He did say Tum Tum. That's his first field goal attempt. Drive by Walton with the dive and a foul.
Well, he's done a nice job when he can get inside to draw fouls. Tum Tum Nairn out of desperation here. And thank goodness for that plexiglass.
Ward just picked up his third. Look,
oh, yeah, he knew it.
That smile's worth 1,000
He
words,
knew it.
isn't it?
He knew that was favor from the basketball gods there.
Walton will be at the line. Derek Walton Jr. Slow start to the season, but he has certainly picked it up. At the 21 against Indiana Thursday, 7 of 8, he was terrific. He and Irvin are roommates. Have been that way for a while for this Michigan team. Tonight at 8 Eastern. The toughest sport on dirt takes the stage in Sacramento as the PBR Built Ford Tough Series rolls on. The Frontier Communications Sacramento Clash. Only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
May have some blood, it appears, with Mo Wagner.
It's interesting that he goes there to the side because, you know, injuries have been so much part of the narrative with the Wolverines last 3 years, losing Clark 136 games to injury. But this year, basically injury-free. They've had their health, and so they've been able to build chemistry. And as John Beilein says, I feel like we've got better rhythm. Our understanding is better. We're accepting our roles. And all this was coming into this afternoon's game against their rival Michigan State. But Michigan State has done a good job taking at them with that rhythm and taking that, deflecting that, and that,
they have
all those different things.
And I think the depth, while they've had good health, John Beilein has basically played six and a half guys per game.
Yep.
And today that's been an issue because Michigan State has gotten such good play from its bench. And I think it's allowed Michigan State to stay fresh as it applies pressure on the perimeter defensively.
The top free throw shooters in the conference, Derek Walton Jr., number 3 in the Big Ten, number 23 in college basketball. Approaching 5 to play in the game. Bridges on top. Quaid, he has gotten out of his slump shooting with 3 triples in a row. 10 to fire here. Bridges, nice spin move. Boy, that body, his spin moves are terrific, but that was a turnover.
Yeah. When you spin from that far away with the defense set, it gives the help side defense a chance to get there. You see that?
Yep.
Walton Jr. was able to get back into the picture because he was so far away from the goal as he attempted the spin move.
Well depicted. Suzanne Smith is our director today. Ryan Galvin, our producer here in East Lansing. 4.5 to go. Walton Jr. Wagner the screen, a triple. Off of Wilson, saved by Irvin. Fresh shot clock with which to work.
Yeah, you got to get a better shot this possession if you're Derek Walton Jr. I know he's capable of that pull-up 3, but they want to try to get something going to the basket.
Wagner's been quiet too here in the second half. The drive and the scoop and a whistle. On the perimeter, he was tagged.
That's why you try to go to the basket, either with the dribble or the pass, because you've got Michigan State in foul trouble, and you've got an opportunity to perhaps draw a foul if you put pressure on the defense. And that time, just a poor angle taken by Matt McQuaid, and as a result, he commits the foul.
Wagner at the line. He is having a breakout season. Interestingly enough, Wagner, the sophomore from Berlin, Germany, much better numbers at home than on the road. Now today, he is 4 of 5. He's hit a 3. He's got the 9 points and 5 rebounds. So his numbers on the road in this particular instance against Izzo's Spartans pretty good.
And I think it's just a matter of time. As he matures, gets stronger, gets more confident and comfortable, because he's got a nice skill set. He can shoot it. He can put it on the floor a little bit. So oftentimes with young players, especially as they're adjusting to the change in roles. I mean, he's a prominent player, and he's a guy that John Beilein is expecting to make plays now late in a 2-possession ball game on the road.
Michigan at the free throw line, by the way, 8 of 10 to the #1 free throw shooting team in the conference. Michigan is. Ward. Even at the distance pushed out right there, the lean, the spinner goes through.
Forget about it.
13 points. What a performance from Nick Ward.
That kid is so uncanny with his ability to finish inside. You can't teach that kind of touch, feel, and awareness, and you put that with his body and his motor, you got problems trying to defend him.
He's 6 of 6.
Yes, he is.
Well, we told you the Spartans were beginning to pick up some traction. They felt, as talking to Tom Izzo, they've been playing better even though the wind's not there. There is a foul on Nairn. Leaning in on Walton. Nairn picks up his third. Back and forth we've gone. A terrific rivalry. The Wolverines, the Spartans, on the road to the Final Four on CBS. They're just underway. Farmers Insurance Open. We had a couple of technicals thrown moments ago as we were going to break. Wagner of Michigan, number 13, and Ward of Michigan State, number 44.
It's going to happen right in this neighborhood, folks, so just keep your eyes right there. There you go. A little love tap by Ward. Wagner took exception. I think I might have had something to say, too. Ward could have walked another path to get to his bench, but beeline for a, no pun intended, obviously, but beeline.
That's good, though. That's pretty good.
Beeline for Wagner and gave him a little get-to-know-you bump, and the officials, in their effort to keep things from escalating.
Think of the battles we're going to have. Ward is a freshman. Wagner's a sophomore. They're going to see a lot of time against each other. So 3 shots here for Walton.
Well, they get a chance to see each other again in about 10 days.
I know. Yeah.
In Ann Arbor.
Just around the corner. They played once last year. They're going to play twice here coming up. Michigan State at 12-9, 4-4 in the conference. Wolverines 14-7, 4-4 in the conference. We had showed you this earlier on the front of the Michigan State uniforms. This is a part of their throwback series. Originally, Michigan State was called the Michigan Agricultural College from 1909 to 1925. The school was founded in 1855, but this is kind of a throwback uniform idea. The second time they've worn these, and I like it. It's a nice throwback to the history of this terrific university.
Yep.
Bridges across the lane. He's got more rhythm in the second half.
Yeah, he does. And Michigan State's offense has had good rhythm all day, and I think they're scoring so much easier than Michigan. It's going to be tough for the Wolverines to come all the way back, even though this game is still very much in question. But the ease and balance that Michigan State has shown, the ease in scoring and the balance in how they've scored, has been the difference thus far.
Walton is 4 of 11. Lost the ball. Ellis has it.
And I might add the defensive pressure, too, which has been good from the start.
Game like this is coming at a good time for the Spartans, who have lost 3 in a row, and we're hoping to avoid the 4th consecutive loss, which would be the first time they've had 4 straight since 2007. Time to play, certainly. A lot of time left, but the way they're going right now, Bridges with a miss. Offensive rebound, shove, and a foul called on Michigan State. Tom Izzo has to be restrained.
Dwayne Stevens jumped right up.
He sure did. Foul on Ellis.
This is one of the points of emphasis with the officials is rebounding fouls, because they can often go unnoticed and uncalled. Oh, he clearly. Alvin Ellis III got right into the back of Derek Walton Jr. No problem there. Tom Izzo couldn't see it, but if he had our vantage point, the expression is priceless, but he fouled him, Tom.
Walton is 8 of 9 from the free throw line, and now the officials are going to have each team go to their respective benches as they review.
I think they're going to try to determine who the shooter should be.
I think you're right.
That's what I think the case is, and it looks like it should be Derek Walton Jr. from what we just showed you.
Talking to John Beilein before the game, he said this is where our team really needs to tighten the screws. Crunch time, execution, and that's where we are right now, smack dab in the middle of it.
Good challenge by Wilson, and there's the push right there by Alvin Ellis III. Officials got it right the first time.
Yes, they did.
See, Robinson was blocking out Alvin Ellis III. There was some incidental contact there, but Ellis III ended up getting right in the middle of the back of Walton and knocked him down, and that's one that has to be called.
So Michigan is led by as many as 3. Michigan State is led by as many as 12 in a game that's contained 8 ties and 12 lead changes. Michigan has a timeout left. Michigan State has 3. Walton is at the line. Coming up next, the final round of the Farmers Insurance Open. Coverage is now available on PGAtour.com and CBSSports.com.
Boy, Walton Jr. has been excellent at the free throw line. He's really been the offense other than a couple of buckets by Mo Wagner over the last few minutes.
So Walton has 19 this afternoon, had 21 on Thursday. He has been imperative for this team.
Yeah. And still just a 2-possession game, Kevin. So Michigan State has to continue to attack and get good shots here. Michigan wants to defend without fouling and then rebound if the shot is missed.
20 for Walton. Under 2 to play. Wilson defends Bridges. Tough chore.
Sure is, because he can go with both hands over either shoulder. Excellent one-on-one move. And that was a called play to isolate him and let him go to work.
Bridges has 15. Irvin trying to set a screen. Wagner above the arc. Robinson right there. McQuaid tails him.
Doesn't have to be a 3. You only take it if it's a good one. Otherwise, you try to drive it.
Wagner triple. Missed it all. Defended on the play well by Goins. Challenged it.
He did. He got there a little late. I think Michigan was happy with the execution there, because it was a pick and pop for Wagner.
Timeout taken Michigan State. They've got 2 left. 1 for the Wolverines. Bridges, nice play for 13 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Coming off the game against Purdue Tuesday with 33, a freshman record at Michigan State. The 3-time big-time freshman of the week has done it all again today, providing something in every column.
Yeah, he's been terrific, and you talk to the coaches, they call him a blue-collar superstar or an eagle-less superstar, and that's great praise for a young man who they're going to play through on this particular possession, just as they did the last one.
Bridges right here, who missed all of December with a left ankle injury. Against the glass, no good. Wagner cleans it up. He's got 5 rebounds. Walton Jr. the other way with a fake and a drive into the rack. Knocked away, foul.
Boy, Derek Walton Jr. has been absolutely outstanding, creating offense when Michigan has struggled to have any offensive rhythm, just by getting around his guy and going strong to the hole. He's going to shoot now, what, his 11th and 12th free throws, or 12 and 13?
12 and 13.
Yeah.
He's 10 of 11. Winston picks up the foul for Michigan State. Walton has got that great rhythm at the stripe. 3rd best in the conference, 23rd best in college basketball. And Tom Izzo looking nervously at that clock and the score for a team that's lost 3. You're taking on a rugged opponent, Cross State, Michigan. Big game, certainly.
And I think you've got to consider fouling immediately if you make this, if you're Beeline, because Michigan State has struggled from the stripe on the season. 67% in Big Ten play. Looking out there on the floor, Harris is pretty reliable. Bridges is okay. I think you give yourself just a couple of seconds, if that, to force a turnover or mistake, and then you play the foul game if you're Michigan.
Walton makes it a 5-point game. Simpson is checked in for Wagner. So they get another guard on the floor to the Wolverines. And the full court trap. Simpson is there with Wilson, as they're working on Cassius Winston.
Winston is 63% in conference games from the line. He's been good today, though. I think he's been perfect today. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, 5 of 5 is what he is so far today from the stripe. But we know that free throws late when the game is tight are different than free throws earlier when you're comfortable.
How about the win for Villanova? They got the buzzer beater moments ago against UVA. Big win for Jay Wright, the defending champion.
Man, and Virginia quietly making noise, and that would have been a big win had they gotten it. But still, keep an eye on the Cavaliers, and I think the Wildcats have a chance to repeat, Kevin. In a year where there aren't really dominant teams out there, Villanova has all the intangibles you need to make a championship run.
Michigan State has missed 5 of their last 8 free throws. Long three right here, no good. Wilson. Wagner picks it up, just checked back in. Irvin is scoreless.
Doesn't have to be a 3.
Irvin, 3. Heavily contested on the play by Ellison, out of bounds. It's Michigan's ball, 26.9 to go.
You want good threes in that situation, multiple opportunities. You're always, I think, better off driving it. And if you get a 3 off a drive, that's different than a catch-and-shoot 3 off a perimeter pass.
Michigan looking for their first Big Ten road win. They don't have a true road win all season. Robinson, it is a 3, no good. Walton tried to put it back up after the rebound. Aggressively goes inside in a Spartan foul.
How about that little fella getting it done inside? Off the dribble, he's drawn fouls. And here, that was going to be a 2 anyway because Robinson had his foot on the line. But what a job by Derek Walton Jr. And you get the clock stop now. But boy, I don't think Michigan handled that as optimally as they could have. Drive it, kick it, drive it, try to draw fouls. Try to get that quick 2 when you're trying to come back with a short game clock.
Walton has 9 of Michigan's last 10 points. So after this shot, what do they do, Clark? How do they proceed?
It's pressure and then a quick foul. Let's see, Cassius Winston, again, 63% in conference play. Alvin Ellis Jr. is the third, 71. So I mean, you've got options because as a team, Michigan State struggles at the stripe.
Michigan has brought in Fred Wright Jones, who was a manager last year. Simpson is watching Winston drive, and Simpson picks up the foul with 19.6 to go. And a 4-point deficit.
Still just going to be a 2-possession game, no matter what happens with these free throws. Either way, you've got to attack quickly, whether they're missed or made if you're Michigan. And again, I know I'm redundant here, but you don't have to get a 3.
Coming up next from La Jolla, final round coverage of the Farmers Open. It is available now on PGAtour.com and CBSSports.com. We'll take you out to Southern California immediately when this game has concluded.
Nice job,
not let us down.
Oh, no, it hasn't. Been really good from the start. As you would expect with what's at stake, rivalry game. Lived up to all of that.
6-point Michigan State lead. 19 seconds to go.
We've come a long way. So long, we're about to make history. Our challenge is to...
Well, you look at it, more Michigan State Spartans have contributed than have Wolverines. That's really the difference. You can look at the numbers, but Tom Izzo and his team have gotten contributions from a lot of guys.
Walton, Wilson. Walton off balance, 3 with Goins right there. It'll be State's ball, 9.7. Well, they can smell it. They can feel it. Wilson will be on the ball, and Ellis will inbound. With the quick foul on Fred Wright Jones, who had checked in, and Cassius Winston to the line. So each team coming into the Big Ten 4-4, and within reach certainly of the top of the division. But we're halfway through, and this is when some of the good teams, you can see them right at the top there, the Terps and the Wisconsin Badgers.
Boilermakers, yep.
What about Chris Collins and what he has done in Evanston at Northwestern?
This very well could be the year.
Oh, my gosh.
I know I'm echoing what many who follow college basketball are thinking and hoping for the Wildcats, who have never made it to the tournament, but still a lot of road in front of them. But clearly they've shown to be a tournament caliber team as we look at it today. Disappointment there for Mo Wagner, part of the painful growing process that's part of every young player's journey.
Winston checks out, Nairn checks in.
Well, what a game by Cassius Winston.
I should say.
Tom Izzo telling him just that, I'm sure.
He had 16. Abdur Rahman triple. Nope, and that'll do it. For a fifth consecutive time, Michigan State has beaten Michigan. And in the process, they end their 3-game losing streak. They go to 13-9. Coming up next, final round coverage of the Farmers Insurance Open. For Clark Kellogg, Kevin Harlan, so long from East Lansing. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the 2017